ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। अनर्पितं चरिं चिरात् कारुण्यावती न खलौ समर्पेतमुन्नतुजरसां स्वभक्ति श्रियम् हरिपुरसुन्दरदुति कदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदय कन्द्रेषु सुरतवै सचिनन्दना। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपीकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि प्रिये। भक्त्या विहीनाय पराधलक्ष्ये क्षिप्तस्य कामादितराङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि तं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome. Okay, under the guidance of Srila Gurudev and in Braj Mandal Parikrama, today Srila Gurudev took us to three prominent forest wands of Vrindavan, Braj Mandal, namely Madhuban, Talban, Kumudban. So I got a very interesting message, and one devotee asked, uh, "Is it that you just saying with your mind, or you're reading Braj Mandal Parikrama book?" So today I got this book with me, so to make you sure that I'm reading from this. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think if I read, then they will believe that I'm speaking from Braj Mandal Parikrama book. So let us all go to Madhuban, a very prominent forest in Braj Mandal. Yeah. What is the glories of Madhuban? There is a pond there. Let us pay pranams and Achman sprinkle water on our head, and we all sit there and hear the glories of Madhuban. So according to Srila Gurudev in this book, it is one of the Braj 12 famous forests. In Satyuga, Bhagwan killed a demon called Madhu here, for which he became known as Madhusudan. So it's not only from Dwapar Yuga, the pastimes of Krishna in Madhuban, but this forest is famous from Satyuga, where Bhagwan has killed one demon called Madhu, and that's why it's known as Madhuban. One means forest, and Madhu is named after uh, killing that demon. But another name of Madhu is also called honey. So it's not only that Bhagwan killed the demon Madhu, that's why it's Madhusudan, Madhuvan, but Madhu means honey. Honey means pleasure, any kind of pleasure which we have in this material world. But all these pleasures are temporary, but the permanent pleasure is devotion, bliss, and prem. And one of the name of Krishna is Madhusudan. Madhu is again nectar, means honey, and Sudan means one who extract the nectar from different flowers. Uh, just like a flower is there in the garden, it looks very beautiful, but the flower has importance when it is plucked and offered to Krishna. In the same way, we all have material bodies, but when Srila Gurudev gives us Diksha and accept us and offer us to the lotus feet of Krishna, then this is not ordinary material body. Even though it looks like material body, but material bodies start gradually starting progress towards spiritual life. And by honoring Mahaprasad, by chanting the names, by hearing Hari Katha, by doing Kirtan and all other spiritual practices, uh, the body, uh, the material body gradually from inside turns out to spiritual body. So Krishna is Madhusudan. He enjoy, he relish all the pleasure which we, all the practices which we perform in our spiritual life. So therefore, this is the meaning of the word Madhusudan. Okay. Because it is endearing and sweet as Supreme Lord Shri Madhusudan himself. That's why this name, the name of the forest is Madhuban. Another name of Madhusudan is Madhav. Another name of Krishna Madhusudan is Madhav. What is the meaning of Madhav? Many meanings. Madhav means Lakshmi Pati, the husband of goddess of fortune, Madhav. But here Srila Gurudev is writing, because he is beloved, Dhav. Dhav, in the word Madhav. So Dhav is called beloved. Yeah. So beloved of Srimati Radhika. That's why his name is Madhav. Shri Madhav is the presiding deity of this forest. Yeah. While taking bath here, performing Achman, one should chant a mantra. So years back when Srila Gurudev used to come here, he's making everyone chanting this mantra. Om Rim Rim Madhuvan Adipate Madhva Nama Swaha. Chanting this mantra renders one parikrama of this forest successful. So this is what happened in Satyuga, and that's why this forest is known as Madhuban. Now, in Treta Yuga also, the sages and other residents of Madhuban were terrified by the atrocities committed by Madhu demon, who after performing severe austerities had obtained a trident from Shiva. Yeah. Madhu demon in Treta Yuga, uh, he started troubling all the sages and very proud of his power that he has one trident which is given by Lord Shiva. And he was given a boon that as long as that trident remained in Madhu's hand, this demon hand, no demigod, demon, or human being could defeat him. So, although Madhu was a prince in the dynasty of sun god Surya Vamsha, he became cruel and devoid of all good conduct due to bad association. This is a point. Very, very important point for the devotees, for all of us. A person may be very good in his dealings and his practices, but something which is detrimental to bhakti is bad association. There are so many examples how Ajamil was very good. He was a Brahmin following all the rituals and purity, but by bad association, Ajamil was totally changed, became a very sinful person. And what is the bad association of Ajamil? He saw once upon a time, he saw in the forest one hunter and prostitute uh, together. So that bad association which he got by seeing that vision, whole his life is changed. Yesterday we were hearing about the sage Saubri Rishi. Although he cursed Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, but he also had bad association of seeing one male and one female fish. And because of that, there was a mood in his heart to get married to 50 daughters of King Mandhata. And there are so many examples. There are also examples how a person in a bad association can totally change when a good association reflects on him or her. There are so many examples. We all are the examples. We were in bad association. But by the association of Srila Gurudev and the Vaishnavas, with that association, yeah, at least we came to know what is the goal of our life. Even though there are some disturbances or slacking in our practices, but at least we are aware of what is the goal of our life. And gradually we all are doing our best to achieve that goal. So, bad association. What to speak of anybody else? Prahlad Maharaj is the son of demon Hiranyakashipu. Yeah. So a demon son will also be a demon. But we see Prahlad Maharaj. Please mute your microphones. Be careful, you're disturbing everyone. Yeah. So Prahlad Maharaj, with the association of Dev Rishi Narad, by hearing Bhagavad Katha from Shri Narad ji, Prahlad Maharaj, even though he's associate, but we see the influence, the potency of association of Narad ji. Now, another example. Even the son of Vara Bhagwan, Narkasur. Yeah. It's a long past time. Some other time I will explain. When Vara Bhagwan, he took planet Earth with his tusk from the waters to the origin. Then Mother Earth asked a son from Vara Bhagwan. Vara Bhagwan, he blessed Mother Earth with a son. So although the son was directly from the Lord, but he got bad association and he became a demon. Bhagwan wants to kill his own son because of his bad association. But Prithvi, earth, which is also known as Bhu Shakti, Bhagwan is always endowed with three potencies: Shri, Bhu, Leela. Yeah. So Bhu Shakti is always with Bhagwan. So Bhu Shakti Prithvi, this mother planet Earth, she folded hands and prayed to the Lord, please spare your son. How can you kill your own son? And Bhagwan told that Prithvi, O earth, I will not kill him now, but I will not spare him when you will ask me to kill him. The day when you will tell me to kill, then I will not spare, even if he is my own son. So bad association. This is a worst thing in spiritual life. Yeah. So even though this demon Madhu was a prince in the dynasty of sun god, he became cruel and devoid of good conduct due to bad association. His father rejected him and banished him from the kingdom. Madhu lived in Madhuban, where he established a new kingdom in which he harassed the citizens. Mandhata, the highly king of Sun dynasty, wanted to punish Madhu, and therefore he attacked him, but he was slain by Madhu's trident. You know, Mandhata, King Mandhata, who had 50 daughters, I explained yesterday, he came to attack Madhu. But Madhu was so powerful with that trident of Shiva that he killed King Mandhata. Before his death, the demon Madhu before his death, Madhu Daitya gave the trident to his son Lavnasur. He told him that as long as this infallible trident remained in his hands, no one would able to kill him, but he can kill all the enemies. So Lavnasur was always carrying this trident in his hand. So no one was able to kill him or defeat him. Yeah. So Lavnasur became very cruel, more than his own father. And all those sages who were residing in Madhuban, they were totally harassed by this Lavnasur, this demon. So the news went to Lord Ram in Ayodhya. Now this is Treta Yuga, when Lord Ram was there on this planet. The sages appealed to the Lord Ram in Ayodhya and humbly prayed for protection. They informed Lord Ram about Lavnasur, how he is troubling us. He was not able to, he is not uh, allowing us to perform any yajna and troubling us a lot. So Lord Ram, he became very upset because the nature of Bhagwan is Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahman Hitaicha. He is always protector of his devotees. Always. So Lord Ram was ready to go, but he thought, I already killed Ravan and Lakshman assisted me in killing the son of Ravan. So my glories and Lakshman glories are spread all over the universe. And even the glories of Bharat, yeah, is spread all over the planet. What about my youngest son, Shatrughan? He should also be get glorified by all the sages. So why don't I just give this credit to my youngest son, youngest brother, Shatrughan? Uh, So therefore, Lord Ramchandra, he coronated his younger brother Shatrughan as the king of Madhuban. So Shatrughan, you go and you kill this demon, Lavnasur. Shatrughan said, Prabhu, I have no doubt in your blessings, but still I want to. I have one request. Can you give me, can you give me this deity of Vara? Huh? I want to take this deity of Vara, which will give me strength. And then it will be very easy for me to kill Lavnasur. Shatrughan then went to the sages, to the ashram of Valmiki Rishi, and after receiving his blessings, he proceeded to Madhuban. Bow and arrow in hand, Shatrughan arrived at the entrance of Lavnasur cave. At that moment, when Lavnasur had gone hunting in the woods and had left his trident behind in the cave, you know. So those who are warriors, it's not that every time they have to show their strength. They're also very intellectual. So with the strength of mind, with the intellect and strength of arms, the king used to uh, conquer. So Shatrughan was very expert, and he knew Lavnasur demon has potency in his trident as his main weapon. So when he's out for hunting, I should go in the cave and get this trident, and then it's very easy for me to kill Lavnasur. So intentionally he went when he was hunting in the woods and had left his trident behind the cave. When the demon returned carrying dead elephants, deers, and other animals, Shatrughna challenged him to battle, and he accepted that, and a fierce fight ensued amongst them. In desperation, Lavnasur tried to get hold of his trident, but Shatrughna, the highly valorous warrior and subduer of his enemy, was able to obstruct him. He was not allowing him to get this trident back. And with his sharp arrows, he succeeded in cutting the head of Lavnasura. In this way, Shatrughna killed Lavnasur and he became glorious all over Brajmandal. So the capital of Madhuban is Mathura. Yeah, Mathura. Who established that Mathura? It was not only in Dwapar Yuga when Lord Krishna came, but it was from Satyuga and Treta Yuga. So Shatrughna, the youngest brother of Lord Ram, was ruling Mathura. There are so many glories of Mathura. So many glories. Shastra says, if anyone stays 3 nights in Mathura with absorption, with purity, with devotion, 3 nights in Mathura, one can very easily get Prema Bhakti of Krishna. This is the glories of Mathura. So, according to Hindi vocabulary, if we say Mathura, yeah, just take out the word thu from Mathura. What is become? Mara. Mara means if you don't take shelter of Mathura, you are dead person. Means you're living but you have no life. You are Mara. And if you change the word Mara, it comes to what? Ram. Someone's microphone is on. Why are you disturbing everyone? Why are you not careful? Those who are doing this. So Mathura, if we deduct thu, then it becomes Mara. Mara means one who don't take shelter of Mathura, one who don't take shelter of Brajmandal, this Mathura, then you are dead. But if we reverse the word Mara, it comes to Ram. Ram means life. Just like in Gopi Geet, Gopis are saying, Tav kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi vediditam kalmashapaham. So Tav kathamritam. What is the nature of Krishna Katha? Mritam. Mrita means killing or death. Those who are not interested in Krishna Katha, they're just killing their own self. Tav Katha Mritam. Those who are not interested in Krishna Katha, they are killing their own self. But those who are interested in Krishna Katha is killing them. See, either way, we have to be killed. We have to die. Can anyone raise your hands who will not die one day? Let me see. Okay, just let me scroll and see. Okay, no one is raising your hands. So everyone wants to live immortal. Yeah. Oh, no one is raising hand. Everyone is silent of hearing the word dying. Yes. Okay. So you understand my point. One day we have to die. So then why don't we just die by hearing Krishna Katha? Again, those who don't hear Hari Krishna Katha, Tav Katha Mritam. Mritam means killed. Those who are not interested in Krishna Katha, they are killing their own self. But those who are hearing Krishna Katha is killing them. So anyway, we have to be killed. Better we can get killed by Krishna Katha. Just like Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he was asked a question by one person. You are always chanting Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You don't see Krishna. We don't see Krishna. So what if you come to know at the end of your life, there is no one, no person named Krishna present? You're wasting your whole life. Yes? God, you're wasting your life. If you come to know at the end of your life that there is no one as Krishna. Prabhupada smiled and he said, yeah, but I must tell you, the reply to you is, even if I come to the end of my life, that there is no one with the name Krishna present, there will be no harm to me because I have to die one day. But how about you? If you come to know that there is a person named Krishna who is God present, and what you going to do at the end of your life? Your whole life is wasted. So at least I'm utilizing my life for some good cause. Whereas you're wasting your life without any cause. So Tav Katha Mritam. We have to die one day, so why not? We die by hearing Krishna Katha. Yeah. So therefore Mathura. Take out Thu from Mathura and becomes Mara. Mara means killed. And reverse of Mara is Ram. But what is Thu in between? This is a Hindi word. Thu means spit on. Thu. When we spit Thu, this is called Thu. That means if someone is not taking shelter of Mathura, means Brajbandal, one is not performing Brajbandal Parikrama in any way, physically, mentally. Or if anyone is not chanting the holy name Ram, then Thu, spit on his life, spit on his life, spit on his life. This is explanation of Acharyas. Therefore, Shatrughan became the ruler, the king of Mathura, and he established Lord Varadev there. This Adi Vara is still present at the same location in present-day Mathura, which lies within Madhuban. Yeah, Adi Vara. So, under the guidance of Srila Gurudev, when we used to do this parikrama, Gurudev used to take us to see, have darshan of Adi Vara. This Vara deity is from million of ages, is from Satyuga. Yeah, how is from Satyuga? I don't know if it's mentioned here or not. Must be. That Vara Bhagwan, this deity Vara, which we see in Mathura, was worshipped by demigods in Swargaloka, heavenly planets. And Ravan, in Treta Yuga, he attacked where? Indrapuri, the kingdom of demigods. And uh, he fought with all the demigods and chased them away. But Ravan brought this Vara Bhagwan deity in his country Lanka. Ravan. And when Lord Ram killed Ravan, He only brought from Lanka only one thing, and that is the Vara Bhagwan deity. Yes. Haridash is showing, Miracle is showing this. Show us again. Which page is this? Can't see. Okay. Maybe. This Vara Bhagwan deity. Ravan brought this from demigods, the abode of demigods. Bhagwan Ram killed Ravan and brought this deity from Lanka, established in Ayodhya. Yeah. So it's in page 87 in this book. Yes, this all of you can have darshan of Para Bhagwan. You see? Keshavadhrita Varaha Rupa Jai Jagdish Hare. Everyone pay pranams to Vara Bhagwan. Shivara Bhagwan ki Jai. This is how when you go Brajmandal Parikrama, all the priests and Brahmins, they will ask you, pay pranams here and give donation here. So I'm just creating that mood of Brajmandal Parikrama. Anyway, so Bhagwan Ram, he brought this, established in Ayodhya, and when Shatrughan, he was coming to Mathura to kill Lavnasur, he brought this deity and established in Mathura. Yeah. Srila Gurudev used to go a couple of times to have darshan of this deity, which is from Satyuga, remember, and is still present there. Okay, so that happened in Treta Yuga. And what happened in Dwapar Yuga? Yeah. Now we come to Dwapar. Shri Krishna would take hundreds of thousands of cows out to graze, walking behind them and calling out their names. Dhumari, Kalindi, Dhauli. He would make sounds to instruct them, such as here, 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 here means come, come, come. Dhiri, dhiri, slowly, slowly. You know the word dhiri, dhiri? Slowly. Just like there is a song. Sham teri vamshi baje dhire dhire. Sham teri vamshi baje dhire dhire. Baje dhire 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 yamuna ke tire tire. Baje dhire 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 yamuna ke tire tire. Sham teri vamshi baje dhire dhire. Cows were jumping. Cows were jumping and wants to be with Krishna. But Krishna is specifying that. Wait, wait. Dhire, dhire. Slowly, slowly. Don't be so restless. And then they were looking with their face up to get the instruction of Krishna. Because they don't want to give up the association of Krishna and only want to follow what Krishna is going to say to them. And Krishna is concerned because one of the name of Krishna is Gopal. Another name is Govinda. Go means cows. Vinda means one. Go vindititi Govindaha, one who gives pleasure to the cows. Gopal means one who's maintainer of cows. So cows were thinking, since your name is Gopal, we give you complete chance to keep your name. So you maintain us. We will not act anything independently. When they were jumping, Krishna used to say, dhiri, dhiri, slowly, slowly. And now Krishna wants to make them drink water from Jamuna. And he say, dhiri, dhiri, come to the bank of Jamuna. But still, even though they came to the bank of Jamuna, cows were not drinking water. They are again waiting for the instruction of Krishna. And Gurudev used to say that Krishna then says, choo, choo, choo. Now you can drink water. So they were drinking water, and that moment Krishna is not playing flute. Because if he plays flute, cows will not drink water. Flute is just like making all the senses inert. They can't move a step. Yeah, that's the attraction of the Krishna's flute. So, and why Krishna has to take cows out to graze? Why? Oh, very interesting, huh? Supreme Personality of Godhead. The controller, the maintainer is God, is Bhagwan, only one Bhagwan. What he has to do with the cows, it doesn't suit to his profile and status. Just taking cows out to graze. Yeah. But I heard from, I forgot, years back from a very senior devotee, and he was reading some commentaries of Bhagavatam, and he mentioned there are 900,000 cows belongs to Nanda Maharaj, and Krishna is taking all these cows for their fun, for their outing, and out to graze. Why Krishna is maintaining 900,000 cows? So he said, each and every pores or hairs on the body of every single cow is one universe. And imagine how many hairs are present in one cow. How many hairs? So 900,000 cows multiply by 900,000 cows multiply by the hairs and the pores in their body. This many universes and this many Brahmans is nourished by Krishna. He's maintaining that. So it's not only a simply a fun taking cows, but his name is Gopal. He's maintainer, sustaining cows. That means he's maintaining all the universes. And that's why the pastimes of Krishna goes like a fire band. Very soon, Deepavali is coming. And there's so much fireworks. I remember we used to have this fire band. So it's a single string. But one, if we just move like this, it looks like there's so many together. Yeah? So pastimes of Krishna is also moving like this, also moving like this. Krishna, he finished his childhood pastime. There are three categories of Krishna's pastime: Balya Leela, Poganda Leela, and Kishora Leela. When he complete childhood pastime, Balya Leela here in this universe, and he enters into Pogand age. Yeah? That means after 5 years, he enters into Pogand age. Then in another universe, the childhood past starts there. Balya Leela starts another universe. When he complete Pogand Leela here, and he entered into Keshor Leela, means he's teenager now. Yeah, when he's teenager, then Pogand Leela starts in another universe, and is keep on going. Alat Chakravat, like a fire brand. All these pastimes, one after the another. In this way, he's maintaining the cows. But there were other means to maintain so many universes. Why only he took the excuse of cows? Why? Because Srila Gurudev's commentary, which is in line in the with the commentary of Vishnu Chakra Thakur, and that is Krishna finding an excuse to meet his gopis. If he's always at home, just with Mother Yashoda, how he's going to see his gopis who were waiting for Krishna? Yeah, here at Radhakund, sometimes at Govardhan, sometimes at Keshi Ghat, Vrindavan. Many times, other ghats on the bank of Jamuna, gopis are, constantly looking. Oh, I must not move from here because I don't know when Krishna will come and he will pass by. So hours and hours they were just standing there and waiting when Krishna will come, even for a second, a moment. If I get darshan of Krishna, my whole day is successful. So when Uddhav came to Radharani, it's not in Bhagavatam, but acharyas have many moods. So one acharya explains, Radharani told Uddhav, it's actually very good that Krishna has left us. It's very good. Yeah. We have no complaints. And we are not sad at all. When someone is in sad mood, he act like a crazy, intoxicated person. So gopis are saying, we are not sad. Krishna has left us. But Uddhav, can you do when something good for us, something more good than this? That don't try to bring Krishna here. Just tell him to stay where he is. Never bring him here. And Uddhavji is wondering, why are you saying this? Since I came here, you're always speaking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Now you're saying, don't bring him here. He said, what we say, Uddhav? When Krishna was present in Gokul, it was so difficult to meet him. There's so many obstacles. Even if we are going out for some good reason, for good cause, our parents, our in-laws, our husbands, our children, brothers, they're always having suspicious moods for us. They always were suspicious, even if we are doing good, and was not in a mood to see Krishna. Then what to speak of if we go and see Krishna? Yeah. So it was so difficult for us. But now, when Krishna is not here, we go to all these places of pastime where Krishna used to go. On the bank of Jamuna, under that Kadamba tree, if we go there, now no one is suspicious to us. We used to touch that same vine, that same creeper, the same flower where Krishna used to keep his hands, where he used to lie on the branch of a tree. We used to touch, and with the touch, we were feeling the presence of Krishna. And now no one is doubting us. If you go to Jamuna, no one is doubting us. Before, everyone was doubting us. Even if we are going to take bath, not to see Krishna, but they were doubting us. Now, we are very free to remember him and to have his touch to those places, the touch of those trees and flowers where Krishna was constantly coming and meeting us there. Yeah. So we are very happy now. Yeah. But is it true? They are speaking this in a happy mood. This is the nature of love. Mhm. This is the nature of love. So only those who can understand this, they will understand this. But many devotees may not understand this. It's a mood. Sometimes devotees argue where it is written. It's not the matter of written. Just try to understand the mood. Yeah. Just try to understand the mood. A person sings either when he's very happy or he's very sad. When a person is normal, he don't sing or she don't sing. When he's super happy, the person feel like singing. And when he's very sad, Again he sings. What is all Gopi Geet about? What is all Brahmar Geet about? This is Geet. Geet means singing. What is Yugal Geet about? They are singing. Happy mood? Separation mood. But are gopis always in separation? Is there no union? What is Ras Leela about? It's a complete union. Rama Rameshu. Krishna is playing with his own reflections. And they're singing and dancing together. So either when they are happy or when they are extreme sad. Brahmar Geet is a song sung by the Radharani in extreme, not sad, but extreme separation. Yeah. So this what happened in Madhuban, in Dwapar Yuga, when Krishna used to come with his sakhas, with Balaram Prabhu. And Gurudev further mentioned, he used to keep Baldev Prabhu in front, and Krishna was always in the back. Balaram Prabhu said, Krishna, you are younger, you should go ahead, and I will protect you from behind. He said, no, 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 Dada, no, elder brother. You are elder brother, I should respect you, I'll follow your footsteps. You go ahead, and I will follow you. Why? Because gopis were looking from the bushes, and Krishna has to indicate the gopis. Karnyo karnikaram. When Krishna is putting a flower, karnika, either this ear or this ear, not on both the ears. This ear, right or left? Very artistically, just stuck in the ear like this. Karnyo karnikaram. Why it is that? Because he wants to give a direction to the, okay, if the flower is here, I will see you in this direction. And the flower is here, I will see you in this direction. Yeah. So there are many ways to indicate someone, to express someone the love in the heart. Sometimes it's difficult to say directly, but through indication, some indication. And person feels, he understands. So Gopi is understanding completely. But Balram Prabhu is thinking, oh, Krishna is just artistically putting one flower on either of the ears. Yeah. So therefore, this is what happened in Dwapar Yuga. Krishna's cow herding pastimes in Madhuban are as sweet as honey. Honey means madhu. And beyond description. So in Madhuban, in Satyuga pastime, Treta Yuga pastime, Dwapar Yuga pastime, and also in Kali Yuga. 500 years, 550 years ago, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Braj Mandal and came to Madhuban, where he got a momentary vision, a sphurti of Shri Krishna pastimes, overwhelmed him with ecstasy. Mahaprabhu remembered Krishna. Each year, many group of pilgrims stop here and rest. So, this is about Madhuban. Okay, so there is also something happened in Satyuga at Madhuban. After paying obeisance to this kunda and where Gurudev used to sit and have Harikatha, let us all move 10 minutes walking distance to one tila, which is called Dhruva Tila. Yeah, and this is the place where Dhruv Maharaj in Satyuga he performed austerities in Madhuban. Yeah. So before I start this, I want to know, is there any comments or complaint that yesterday Harikatha was 2 hours and we have to only speak 1 hour? Anything? Yes? Just say yes or say no. Oh, okay, no. Okay, keep on shaking your head because I'm scrolling my phone. Okay. Careful, huh? No, everyone is saying no. How about Holland? They're not saying anything. Only laughing. Okay. Madhusudan? No. Okay. Acha. Hmm. Okay, everyone is ready. Wow. I'm also ready. Yeah, I still remember, since I'm doing Brajmandal Parikrama every year, by the mercy of Vaishnavas and the MC who are conducting Brajmandal Parikrama, always they give me opportunity to speak at this place, Dhruv Maharaj, speaking about Dhruv Maharaj and Madhuban. And I still remember I only get 13 minutes to speak. And after 14th minute, they all become restless and start ringing bell. But it's a long pastime. When I'm about to stop, the 15th minute, they snatch mic from my hand. But today, there is no one to say anything. It's a great blessings, huh? In one sense. In Satyuga, there was a king called Utanpad. You have to go. King Utanpad, who has two wives, Sunniti and Surichi. King, he used to love his younger wife Suruchi more than Suniti. Suniti was elder wife. Then from Suniti, the king had son called Dhruv, and from Suruchi is a son called Uttam. Uttam is best. So because king uh, loved his younger wife, once upon a time he was sitting on his throne with Uttam on his lap, and king was playing with Uttam. And seeing this, Dhruv Maharaj, who was also a very young, 5-year young boy, he also wants to come and jump on the other lap of the father and want to sit there. So the moment he was running, his stepmother, means Suruchi, took hold the hand of Dhruv and said, Dhruv, you cannot sit on the lap of your father. Dhruv Maharaj said, why not? Am I not the son of my father? She said, I don't know if you're son of your father or not, but you are not my son. You can only sit on the lap of your father and on this throne when you go to forest and perform austerities, and in the next life, in the next birth, you take birth from my womb. Yeah? Only from my womb. Then you can sit on the lap of your father. Dhruv Maharaj was a Kshatriya. Yeah? So these words of stepmother pierced his heart so much, like arrows. Sometimes someone says some things which affects so much. It just pierces the heart. You know? Sometimes we take those words very lightly, simple, but sometimes it really hurts so much. Dhruv Maharaj was so staunch and determined. He took these words of stepmother very seriously, without any consideration what he is going to eat in forest, where he is going to sleep in forest, who is going to guard him in the forest. No consideration, but just it pierced his heart so much, he wanted to go. So immediately he left the palace, but he saw his mother Suniti was standing at the doorstep. Dhruv Maharaj paid obeisance to his mother, and she knew everything what happened in the palace this morning. Mother Suniti is so glorious. She did not stop Dhruv going to forest. Why? Because she has so much affection for Dhruv. Oh, mother, if you have affection for your young child, how can you allow him to go to forest? Any small child, 5-year young, boy or girl, the mother cannot allow to just go alone to school. always protector. How come Suniti became so hard-hearted? It's not the matter of hard-hearted. It's the matter of affection. That Dhruv is going for some very good cause. He's going to perform meditation, austerities to attain Bhagwan. And why shall I come in between him and Bhagwan as an obstacle? We all have to understand this. We all. We should not disturb or create any obstacle in any of our family member who or she is really sincere about spiritual practices. Otherwise, in Bhagavatam, there is a verse which says, Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sa, swajanani na sasyat. That Guru is not Guru. That father is not father. That mother is not mother. That husband is not husband. And that brother is not brother. One who saves us from the clutches of death. Who, in other words, stop us to perform bhajan of Bhagwan, bhajan of Krishna. This is in Bhagavatam.
Can I blow the conch?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Everyone will see the darshan.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm in a temple. So I shifted to a temple today, and Pujari is going to blow the conch, and darshans will be there. So I will wait for just 2 minutes, and everyone can see the darshan of Radha Govindji here. Then I will continue. So Dhruv Maharaj, so who is the ideal guru? Say ideal guru is Naradji, who with his mercy, his blessings, he blessed even Prahlad Maharaj, even Dhruv Maharaj, Pandavas, Prachetas, Valmiki, that hunter. There's so many examples. Yeah, Naraji is the best Guruji. And of course, all our Guru Varga in our line.
Small deities don't have their hair in flute because we just paint.
No problem. Just hope. So, Dhruv Maharaj, sorry. Yeah, Naraji, the best Guru, and he's Narad Goswami, he's Jagat Guru. And all our Acharyas, all our Guru Vargas are in the same line with Naraji. Always telling us, give up your material attachment. Give up your material attachment. They are Sadgurus, they are bona fide Gurus, because they want us to get attached to the object of attachment, and that is Krishna and the bhajan of Krishna. But there are so many Gurus around the world. They are not Sadgurus, they are sad Gurus. They are sad Gurus. How you write Sadguru? S-A-D. They are sad Gurus. Who's telling, okay, only give money in my pocket. Don't offer anything to Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Govinda. So they're telling us, all these gurus, they want to fill their pocket. Yeah, their bank balance. And they say their disciples, no need to give to the Lord. No need to give to Bhagwan. I'm your Bhagwan. I'm the manifestation of Bhagwan. I'm the incarnation of Bhagwan. Jai Shri Radha Govinda Jai. Just for 2 minutes, I will pause in Hari Katha. You can all have darshan of the deities. Okay, I'll show you. Go. Take this here. God. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So, Dhruv Maharaj. Yeah, we were speaking about Dhruv Maharaj. So, Naraj is the best guru, but as Bali Maharaj rejected his guru Shukracharya, one can reject one guru if he is not allowing us to serve the Lord. Who only say, worship me, don't worship Bhagwan. That guru has to be rejected. As Bali Maharaj has rejected his guru Shukracharya. Who can be idol husband? Yeah. Sorry. Let us come to father. Who is idol father? Idol father is Rishabh Dev in Bhagavatam. Rishabh Dev called upon his 100 sons and told, today I have to give a very important message. All the sons said, what message? Rishabh Dev said, Naham de bharjam nirloke kashtam kamam artham vidvijam ye. This is a verse which Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada used to utter a lot. Naham de bhajam nirloke kashtam kamam artham vidvijam ye. Rishabh Dev told, all my sons, Bhagwan has given this body not to waste or enjoy like dog and hog. And the son said, what? We thought this life is meant to eat, drink, and be merry. That's all. Yeah. But Rishabdev said, no. Bhagwan has given this life for bhajan, tapo divyam putraka, to perform tapasya, to perform bhajan. And by hearing the words of his father, who always guiding them towards Krishna consciousness. But who is the one who rejected his father? Prahlad Maharaj rejected his father Hiranyakashipu. That father has to be rejected. Who is the idol mother? The idol mother is Suniti, who allowed Dhruv Maharaj to go to forest and perform bhajan. Otherwise, just like the younger brother of Lord Ram, Bharat, rejected Mother Kakai, the mother has to get rejected. Yeah. Who is the idol husband? The Kardamba Rishi in Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. Kardam, who never create any obstacles to Mother Devhuti. Otherwise, just like Duja Patnis has rejected their husband, those husband has to get rejected. So I'm not saying all of you, please don't create problems in your family. It is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone who helps us and inspire us to surrender to Krishna, that person is of praiseworthy. of respect. Yeah. So Dhruv Maharaj was not stopped by his mother, and he entered in forest. But prior to that, Naraji came over the scene, and Naraji gave mantra to Dhruv Maharaj. First of all, Naraji tried to test Dhruv Maharaj. Hey Dhruv, what you going to eat in forest? You will not get anything to eat there. Forest is not your palace. You'll not get comfortable bed to sleep. You'll not get guards to protect you. There will be tigers, there will be lions, bears, snakes in the forest. How are you going to manage? There will be no air condition in the forest. So many things. But Dhruv Maharaj was so much determined. As the word Dhruv means determined. Dhruv Maharaj was so determined. Then he said, Naraji, sage like you uh, always inspire others to perform bhajan. Why you scaring me or stopping me? I'm expecting mantra from you and blessings from you. I want to go to forest to satisfy Supreme Lord. I'm going very simple topic as I'm telling every day because many new devotees are hearing. So I'm just going very simple without so many details. Naraji gave a mantra to Dhruv Maharaj, and this is a mantra from Satyuga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. By hearing this mantra, by receiving this mantra, Dhruv Maharaj went to forest. And in 6 months, with his severe austerities, in 6 months, he attained the Lord. He had darshan of Bhagwan. When he had darshan of Bhagwan, Dhruv Maharaj, small young boy, paid obeisance to Bhagwan. And seeing such small young child, 5 years, heart melted. Lord's heart melted. Dhruv Maharaj wants to say something. He wants to say something. But nothing is coming out from his lips, from his mouth. So Bhagwan had touched his conch on the cheeks of Guru Dhruv Maharaj, and he infused all knowledge in him. That's why it is said, Mukam karoti vachalam pangun lange te girim yat kripatam vande paramanand madhavam Shri Guru Deen Taranam. When the mercy of Guru and Krishna is there, even a lame person can climb over the mountains. And even a dumb person become vachal, he starts speaking. Dhruv Maharaj's throat was moving, but he was not able to say something. And Bhagwan wants to hear what Dhruv wants to express. What are the jewels present in his heart? Let me hear this. You know, this is also desire of Bhagwan. He wants to hear what devotees will say to me in favorable circumstance and in unfavorable circumstance. Sometimes Krishna also wants to, Bhagwan also have some desires. Krishna also wants to sometimes judge his devotees. Krishna is judging his wife Rukmani. Very wonderful pastime. When Krishna was in Dwarika, once upon a time, Rukmani was fanning Krishna. And Krishna is Vidagdha. Vidagdha means he always liked to joke. He wants to actually judge what is the difference between my beloved in Braj, the gopis, and Rukmani and Satyabhama in Dwarika. What is the difference? So Krishna intentionally told Rukmani, it was your mistake to marry me. I'm not appropriate suit and match for you. There were so many good prince those days. You could have married with them. They were so powerful and strong. Rukmani, you see, I'm a coward. I turned my back while fighting, and I came in the middle of this ocean in Dwarika, hiding in it from all these demons. And I'm also not good complexion, I'm black complexion. There were so many white, golden complexion prince and kings. You did a mistake by marrying me. So Krishna was just trying to, you know, how to say, what is the word? Huh? Test Rukmani. And what happened? Rukmani cannot hold this. She cannot tolerate this. And she fainted right away. And Krishna, with his 4 hands, in Dwarika, he has 4 hands. And after so many days, he's able to utilize his other 2 hands. He hold it Rukmani like this and sprinkle water on. Rukmani came back to consciousness. So Rukmani, what happened to you? She said, why you said these words? Don't you know how much I love you? And whatever words you said is not correct, actually. And Rukmani is trying to give explanation. Each and every shortcomings, Krishna speaking about himself, Rukmani changed into the glories and praise. Yeah. Because Krishna said, because of the fear of demons, I'm a coward and I came all the way in the middle of ocean to save myself. Rukmani said, actually you wanted to say that you are beyond the 3 modes of nature and you are in Vishuddha Sattva, the pure existence. And that's why you are situated and protect yourself from those people who are in 3 modes of nature. And so many other things are there. I'm not going in detail. Because the important point is, Krishna also tried to test sometime, want to see. And Krishna found out, Rukmani, Rukmani, he didn't said, but he felt that there is not so much charm in joking with Rukmani. Because I just was trying to joke and she can't tolerate this and she fell unconscious. I didn't like this. Better I ask Satyabhama. So Krishna entered in Satyabhama palace and also asked the same question. Satyabhama, you did a mistake by marrying me. There were many good princes and kings those days. You could have married with them. Satyabhama immediately spoke on the face. He said, yes, yeah, you did mistake. I think better you would have married that 3-band form Kubja. That was appropriate match for you. Very blunt in replying. Krishna smiled, but he was not very much satisfied. He was trying to test them. And then he concluded, wow, this is a difference in Braj Mandal. This is a difference in the moods of Braj, where if I joke with Radharani or Lalita Vishakha, and they also reply me on my face, but in those replies, there was so much respect and there is so much intellect and there is so much humor. This is all combination of all the things together, all the ingredients together, which makes me blissful, delightful, and I like to hear this. Yeah. Some of you might have noticed this. There are many senior devotees who are also hearing from Holland and also Rekha and Rup Narayan Prabhu. Sometimes Gurudev also used to test. Yeah, Gurudev used to test. And Gurudev used to say, oh, you know, without your support, without your help, I can't preach at all. Gurudev used to say, oh, without you, I cannot do any publication. Oh, if you have not supported financially, how can I able to uh, finish my projects, my temples? Don't go into the words of Gurudev and Krishna like this. They are sometimes testing us. Mhm. I asked one devotee yesterday. I asked one devotee, oh, why you approach me for initiation? Uh, I wanted to know what that devotee was thinking. I said, why you approach? There were so many good preachers coming in your country, in your city, and they speak very good Hari Katha. They're so seniors. I'm so junior. And why are you waiting for me? Why you waited for me so long? 2 years, 3 years? I don't know what the devotee was thinking at that moment when I wrote, but actually I wanted to know. I wanted to know the mood. And I got a very good reply and really melted my heart. So much affection and love overflowed from my heart just by hearing this. Yeah. So sometimes it happens. Krishna test, sometimes Guru also test. Writing something, asking something, speaking something. Anyway, so in this way, through Maharaj, he received all the knowledge from Bhagwan. Right? And when he got this knowledge, what was jewel in his heart, he he brought all this jewel out. Yeah. Where we keep the jewels? Openly in our living room? I never saw in any house. Or in the street? No. Jewels are always kept hidden. So when there is jewel of prem, the jewel of love, it is also kept hidden in the heart, locked. No one can see that. It is kept in the heart, hidden totally. Yeah. Only indication is given, and a person understands. Yeah. It is locked in the heart. Bhagwan, it can be Krishna, can be Narsingh Bhagwan, Lord Ram. They also want to know what is present in the heart of my devotee. Yeah. Because in the heart of the devotee, there is always some jewels. So I'm not elaborating on this, otherwise we switch over to Radha Krishna pastimes. There's so many details in that. But here, Bhagwan also wants to know what Dhruv is going to ask from me and what he's going to pray for me. And Dhruv Maharaj, in 14 shlokas, he prayed to Bhagwan. And one very important shloka, Dhruv Maharaj spoke. Bhaktimai parvartam toy me prasango bhuyad ahantamatma amla shainam. He said, oh my Prabhu, my Lord, I'm asking something from you. And what is that? Give me the association of your devotees. Okay, just underline this point or give attention to this point. What Dhruv ji is saying. Give me the association of your devotees who are always absorbed in your pastimes. Bhakti mai parvartam toy me prasango. Those who are always absorbed in speaking about you, remembering about you. Just give me association of those devotees. Very strange. Yeah, it's strange. Dhruv Maharaj, he wanted to see the Lord, and Lord is present in front of him. Is there anything left even after having the darshan of Lord? No, that should be enough, and that should be complete in itself. No, there is something more than the darshan of the Lord. There's something more. And what is that? The association of devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kaye, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hai. 1/11th portion of a second of association of devotee can give all perfection. Now there are 10,000 examples to prove this. Yeah, so many examples. Love Matra Sadhu. Dhruv Maharaj asked for the association of devotees, even after receiving the darshan of the Lord. So, what is more important? Yeah. What is more important? I saw one devotee asking his Gurudev, Gurudev, what is the result of chanting holy name? I will get Krishna. And Gurudev said, hey, nonsense. Such a big sadhan of chanting Harinam and such a small perfection, getting Krishna. such small thing you are asking, which even demons can get. Those demons who are killed by Krishna, they also attained Krishna. And taking shelter of Harinam and only asking a small thing? No. Then Gurudev, what then I can ask? Only ask Krishna Prem, which is far superior than attaining Krishna. If you even become against to Krishna, you can get Krishna. Shishupal, he got Krishna. But something which the demons cannot get. What is that? Association of the prema, the love of Krishna. And how we can get this? Only with association. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyata Yati Kuto Kulabhir Tatra Lolyam Moolam Ekam Janma Koti Sukritana Labhir. Yeah. Only association can give us Krishna Prem. Nothing else. Yeah. So Dhruv Maharaj asked for this, but now it's too late. What's too late? Krishna wants to, the Bhagwan wants to fulfill the desire of Dhruv. For the reason he came to the forest and performing severe austerities for 6 months. Very severe austerities. Gave up eating, gave up drinking, only surviving on air. Hawa pite, hawa. And then he also gave up that. But what was the desire in the heart of Dhruv Maharaj? Now this is very important point. Gurudev used to highlight on this. The intentions, the mood which we carrying in our heart and performing all spiritual practices, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, we should always be careful what we are keeping in our heart. While we perform all these services, be careful. By सेके जनपाल करे उपशाखा बढ़ी जाए स्तब्ध होए मूल शाखा बढ़ीते न पाए. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, a gardener, he makes a very good garden where flowers are there and is giving water, sunlight, but along with the plants or along with the flowers, there are some weeds also start developing. So while we chant, remember, hear, serve Krishna, Arati to Krishna, all the services what we do, what happens? All these unwanted desires, which are called unwanted needs, get developed in the heart. And they are the actually which are taking all these positive energies, they become strong. But Krishna Bhakti, the love of Krishna, gets subside. This is what happened with Dhruv Maharaj. There is no fault of Dhruv Maharaj, but Bhagavatam actually is for Paramahansas. Dhruv Maharaj is teaching us a lesson, a teaching there, by through his own example. In Bhagavatam, when we hear the pastime of Bharat Maharaj, who fall down with attachment of a deer, but actually he is showing this by his own example. Whereas these personalities like Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and Bharat Maharaj, they all are great exalted devotees, but showing with their own examples. So what Dhruv Maharaj is teaching us at Madhuban, where our parikrama went today, this is the place where we got the darshan of Bhagwan in Satya Yuga. Say, be careful with what motives and intentions you are going to perform bhajan to Lord, to Bhagwan, to Krishna. Intentions. All these desires get fulfilled, but one will be cheated with Krishna Prem. Yeah. Bhagwan fulfilled the desire of Dhruv Maharaj and said, Dhruv, we wanted to sit on the throne where none of any of your ancestors ever sat before. This was the mood. So I bless you. I bless you now. You become the ruler of the planet Earth for 36,000 years. But after that, I have created one planet for you, complete one planet, Dhruv Loka for you. You will always situated there, you rule there. Dhruv Maharaj was totally broken. No, no, Prabhu, please take your boon back. Please, I don't want this. I don't want to sit on any throne. I don't want to rule of the planet Earth for 36,000 years. Bhagwan said, this is what was you carrying in your heart. Yeah, this is what you're carrying in your heart. So therefore, Dhruv, don't worry. What I've given you, accept this. And with my blessings, you will never forget me. Dhruv Maharaj was only worried for this forgetful nature. What will happen if I forget Krishna? Only this was the worry, nothing else. Whereas devotees, they can accept anything, kingdom or no kingdom, or if they are just pauper or beggar in the street, doesn't matter. In happiness and distress, they're always equal. But the only worry Dhruv Maharaj was having, if I become the ruler, the king, I may forget my Prabhu. But Bhagwan pacified, no Dhruv, you will never forget me. Bhagwan disappeared and Naraji, Veena in his hand, he came to the Utanpad, the father of Dhruv Maharaj, in his palace and singing, wow! What is singing? Narad Muni Bajai Veena Radhika Raman Nami. Radha Raman, Radha Raman, Radha Raman. So maybe some devotees here having this doubt. I can see the faces. Yeah. Face is index of mind. The mind is reflecting from their faces. They might think that means we should not have any desire then. If Bhagwan will fulfill our desires, maybe we forget him or we break our relationship with him. No. That's why Rupa Goswami Pad told, Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Not Anya Bilasha Shunyam. Anya Bilashita Shunyam. This ta has significance. What is the meaning? Anya Bilasha Shunya means devoid of any other desires. But we should always keep this desire to serve Krishna. And for the service of Krishna, we need everything. You know, one devotee asked question, Maharaj, first time in my life I prayed to Giriraj Govardhan for something. I never did in my life. But for what reason? The devotee is praying. For sense gratification? No. For the service of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Then there is no problem at all. Yeah. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he saw darshan of Mahaprabhu, what he said? Mahaprabhu, I cannot preach because for preaching I need man, I need money. And Mahaprabhu said, I will supply you manpower and money power. I will supply you. So for preaching, this is true. Prabhupada is saying this. Yeah. For preaching, what we need? We also need manpower. We also need money. So if anyone is asking have some desires. We have to see what is the desire is for. I want to live in a big palace. Bhagwan, give me some money. This is wrong. Bhagwan, I want to make a big, huge temple. Hundreds of people can come and they get spiritual benefit. So much difference. So, Anya Vilashita Shunyam. Please read Bhakti Saman Sindhu Bindu and your doubts will get clarified. So, Dhruv Maharaj, Naraji came and singing in the palace. And King Uttanpa said, Naraji, all glories to you, O holy sage. Why are you singing so much? He said, I'm very happy and blissful today. Why? Oh, he said, one of my disciples. I'm very proud of that disciple. He got mantra from me, and today he attained the Lord. He attained the Lord. And king said, who is there, your disciple? He said, Dhruv. And Father Uttanpad was in tears. My son Dhruv, really? And I was so harsh on him because of my attachment to my queen. I always rejected Dhruv. But Dhruv, all glories to you. I can't wait any long. And I will now go and welcome Dhruv and bring him back to the palace. Now king don't want to hear any queen, nothing. He just ran to the forest to welcome Dhruv. And everyone, all subject also running after the king Uttanpad. And Dhruv Maharaj, very happy, blissful mood, he's coming back. And he saw everyone right in front of him. Dhruv Maharaj saw his father. He saw his own mother, Suniti. He also saw his stepmother, Suruchi, and all others. Dhruv Maharaj, first of all, he paid obeisances to his stepmother, not to his own mother. He paid obeisance to Suruchi. Why? Because anyone who helps us in developing our bhakti, that person is most respectable, honorable person, no matter if he's acting favorably or unfavorable to us. Now this is very high consciousness. We need a platform to understand this. In so many examples are there. High consciousness. Shri Bilmangal Thakur, whose book Krishna Karnamrit was so dear to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. Bilmangal Thakur, we all know the story, how he took his eyes out. He got attached to a prostitute and then rebuked by a woman. Bilmangal Thakur, right in the beginning of his book, in Manglacharan, he's paying obeisances to first of all that Chintamani, to whom he was attached to. And he's writing Chintamani Jaiti Som Guru Guru Me. Som Giri Guru Me. Shiksha Guruscha Bhagwan Shikhi Pucha Molai. Chintamani, paying obeisance to her first. Because her harsh words inspired me to go to Vrindavan. Whole life changed. So therefore, Dhruv Maharaj was welcomed. And in this way, King Uttanpad, he went to forest for performing austerities, and Dhruv Maharaj, he became the king, ruling over 36,000 years. And then he went to his Loka, Dhruv Loka. So these were all glories of Madhuban. I'm not going to Talwan today. Otherwise. Yeah, you want Talwan? Achha. But also very elaborate, Talwan. Okay. Oh, devotees writing me. Yes. Big. You all have big appetite, huh? You're not satisfied. Okay. Talvan is also a very prominent one. Just very quick and fast. No further explanation. Krishna Balram with all his sakhas wandering in the forest, and sakhas trying to tease Baldev Prabhu. Oh Balram Prabhu, Mahabahu, oh great arm one, you never show your strength to anyone. And Baldev Prabhu said, okay, I will show my strength to you now. The Sakha said, "Oh no, no, not to us, but a demon who is attacking in our stomach." So what is that demon? Say, we are hungry. Hungry? Is that easy? There are so many foods here you can eat. The Sakha said, "Oh Balaram, Baldev Prabhu, oh Baldev Prabhu, there is a uh, there is a forest which is known as Talvan, and very fragrant, delicious, sweet tal fruits are hanging there. We want to eat that." Balram Prabhu said, "What's the problem? Let's go and eat." Say, "No, no, no. There is one demon, uh, shaped like a donkey. He is protecting that forest, so we can't go there." So Kamsa has sent this demon. What is her name? Dhenukasur, donkey, who was controlling this forest with his associates and with his wives. Balram Prabhu said, "Okay, let's go there and see what he can harm to us. We all be going to eat these tal fruits." Baldev Prabhu went there and he shook one tree, very heavy. And all of a sudden, all these tal fruits stopped dropping. Thup, 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 thup. And Sakhas, "Oh, very nice." And they're about to take this tal fruit. But all the associates of Dhenukasur, donkey, they start shouting. Dhenukasur being the prominent and king of all other donkeys, he came to attack Baldev Prabhu. And how donkeys attack? Which feet they used to kick? Back legs? Hind legs? Yes. May I know the reason why they use their back legs, not the front legs? Any scientific cause? I will tell you. Because he's donkey. Only this is the cause. Only this is the reason. They're donkey. So they tried to hit Baldev Prabhu, and Baldev Prabhu took Dhenukasur and क्या बोलते हैं? Huh? He spin around him and throwed him on the tree. Dhenukasur started vomiting blood and he died. Seeing this, all other his associates, also donkeys, they came forward, and Baldev Prabhu and Krishna together, they killed all these associates of Dhenukasur. Huh. Dhenukasur was killed. By this, it is proved that there is no difference between Krishna and Balaram. Now from here, Baldev Tattva starts. And when Baldev Tattva starts, means Guru Tattva starts. And when Guru Tattva starts, it means another 1 hour. Baldev Prabhu, yeah, he killed Dhenukasur. He wants to, this shows there's no difference between Krishna and Balaram. एक ही स्वरूप दोनों भिन्न मात्रकाय आद्य काय सबु कृष्ण लीला सहाय. They both are same, no difference, only the difference of complexion. Balaram Prabhu is golden and Krishna is dark complexion. That's the only difference. If Krishna can kill demons, Baldev Prabhu can also kill demons. If Krishna can perform Ras Leela, Baldev Prabhu can also perform Ras Leela. See? So, what is the meaning? In short, 2 minutes ending. The meaning here is, as Baldev Prabhu has killed the donkey, the manifestation of Baldev Prabhu means Shri Gurudev also killed as like mentality, donkey-like mentality of the disciples. And what is that mentality? Donkey always carries so much load, never taste that. The disciple also thinking, taking so much loads, but can't relish that. What is that? Now there are many details. I can't explain in 5 minutes. So Gurudev also, like Baldev Prabhu, kill Dhenukasur, which is present in our mind, in our heart. The donkey-like mentality. That's why we pray to Gurudev by saying, Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurumritam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. O Gurudev, by lighting, by giving a torch light, you dissipating all the darkness from my life. What is that torchlight? Torchlight of knowledge. What is that knowledge? Ekla Ishwar Krishna Arsa Vidya. Only one God, Ishwar, that is Krishna, and we all are servants and made servants of Krishna. This is the knowledge. And what is darkness? Bhukti Mukti Vancha Aisa. Desire for material enjoyments and desire for liberation and desire for perfection, siddhis. These are darkness. And Gurudev takes us out from darkness to light. So by hearing this topic, this pastime again and again, the donkey-like mentality had vanished. We pray to Shri Gurudev, pray to Thakurji, to Baldev Prabhu to please destroy and cut this knot in the heart which we are carrying from so many lives. Tato dusangam siddhyat satsu sajet buddhiman sant eva chindanti manovyaksava tavi. The sadhus always carrying a sword in his hand, in his mouth, and he speak a very bitter Harikatha. What sweet Harikatha. When devotees say, oh, your Harikatha is very sweet, that means it's not good Harikatha. The Harikatha has to be bitter. No? Eating so much sweet is not good. No? One can have diabetic problems, but eating bitter gourd is better. It cleans, purifies the blood, and it helps in diabetic and controlling blood pressure and so many things. So bitter Harikatha is best. Sweet Harikatha is not good. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.